Today I'm going to share some things I wish I knew before losing my virginity. The first one is having sex is a normal activity. Like, it's not a shameful thing to do. And having interest in satisfying your sexual desires is perfectly normal, and that shouldn't elicit shame in it of itself. With that said, that one is a really big one for me because I have history of sexual trauma, which that in itself added a lot of shame when it came to just my body in general, but also just the way sex was introduced to me from my family. A main part was like, for women, sex is like a virtue thing that you hold, and you should, like, losing your virginity is like losing part of your value, and each time you have sex with another person, your value diminishes more and more and more. And I'm sure this is something that people, have at least been introduced to, this idea at some point in their lives of like, women are sluts for having high numbers of sexual partners and men are studs for it. So that's a big thing. And along with that, I wished like the emotional part of having sex was discussed with me a little bit more, because I was introduced like from people that I had known that lost their virginities of like two different mindsets. One of like, sex is not a big deal, it's just like a hobby. Like, having sex is like playing video games, or I don't know, something like that. Like, it's a very casual, cavalier thing. And then for other people, it's like this big, intimate thing. And I wish the idea of it being on the spectrum would have been introduced to me more, so it wasn't so severe. Like, it's possible to have sex that doesn't have a deep, meaningful connection with your partner. Like, it could just be like the physical pleasure of it, and then there's sex where like mental, emotional stuff is going on where you feel deeply connected, and then it feels better when all of that is combined, but not necessarily all of that has to be in place for it to be a good thing. Like, it was introduced to me before, like, if it's just like a pleasurable thing, that's shameful and bad unless you're a guy, which doesn't make sense, because especially for heterosexual males, like, who is the male having sex with in that regard? And I say that to say, when I lost my virginity, I thought I didn't necessarily think something magical was going to happen, but I thought something was going to change, and nothing changed. Like, I felt the same. Like, I thought there was going to be like a lot of emotions, and that just didn't happen. Like, it was just time passed and something happened. Like, we had sex, but I didn't feel more connected to the person. I didn't feel changed. So that was really hyped up in my mind. So maybe like a more realistic expectation of what sex is going to be like. And 3, a big thing that will make sex more pleasurable and easier is 1 or 2 of what I'm about to say, even better if it's both. 1 is to be fully comfortable with my body, which I was not there yet because I hadn't processed all the trauma that happened to me. And then the other would be to be fully comfortable and fully trust the person I'm having sex with. So if I'm not fully comfortable with my body, which I'm not completely there yet, at least having a partner that I can be honest with, like, I'm really insecure when it comes to these things, or I'm unsure of what I find pleasurable when it comes to sex. Like, I don't know my body that well. Can you help me discover that? And being upfront, I think, helps keep miscommunications from happening. Like, if sex is not pleasurable for you, but your partner doesn't know, it's because you don't fully know what you like, so it's hard to guide them and say, can you do this instead of that? It can also lift the heaviness off their shoulder, like the burden of like them thinking, oh, I'm not doing a good job, or like, I'm not good at this. Like, just realizing like, no, you're both discovering what works for you or what might work for you two as sexual partners. But with this, it also makes it less awkward to share things like, I'm not fully wet yet, or can we do foreplay a little bit longer, and things like that. Which, even if you don't have history of sexual trauma, like there's gonna be times where it might take more effort to get you in the mood than other times. And having an understanding partner will definitely help get past that hump a little bit quicker, because sometimes there might be things on your mind that you just need to talk out before having sex. But if your partner is just like, can we just hurry up to the sex part, the talking it out may not be as therapeutic as it could be. So those are the main things I wish I knew before losing my virginity. If you have any questions when it comes to losing your virginity or related to sex at all, please let me know in the comments.